So this would be the way that in the shop that we would normally measure something. So, you know, if we wanted to measure from me to Lori, you know, you could do this thing and then look down here and get your exact link and figure out how far something is. Lori has her method, and that is to
well, it's like girl math. You know, you
girl
like
math. Yeah.
All right, it's this much, and then you go to the store and you buy it.
Yeah. And how did the footage work out?
Oh yeah, if you know, you can do like 3 feet.
Right.
Sure, I'm sure my foot's 12 inches.
So if you were going to walk from here to there, it would be difficult.
Well, yeah, especially that. I don't think I could girl math that as much.
Yeah. So we're going to, rather than girl math this, we're going to try to get a little more exact. This is a Camaro that we're rebuilding on a total restoration. And we started, I think we've already talked about this before on some other videos, but we started with an Art Morrison frame down here. And the first thing we have to do is get that frame squared up to the body. So we did this first time, and guess what happened? The frame moved as we were in the process of putting this all back together. So we started over. So it's a geometry thing to figure out what it takes to get everything square. And you start with the frame, and then you go to the radiator support. This is the part that everything bolts to. And so what we would have done the first time is maybe do this and come over to one hole there that we know is already there and measure to another hole here, and then walk over and do the same thing in this direction.
Okay.
Knowing that we're going to use the same holes there and there and here and here. So that really wasn't exact enough. So we got out the tram. Now what a tram is just this basic thing right here that you can adjust to move in and out, and you can put a needle on each end. And the reason for this is because you have to kind of pass over a lot of things. So you want some height in there. If you really need some real big height, then here's the longer ones that you can put in.
This is fancy.
And what we're trying to do is make sure that, first of all, the frame is lined up correctly down here. And then we're going to bolt this up, which we've already done. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to identify where the hood hits this. And it turns out that measuring from here to here to here, this is the center. So we know that this has to be centered on the car to make sure the hood's going to close when we get through bolting all these parts on. So using a tram, you find that same identification point, like right there, and you come over and find another identification point, and it might be...
It's even got a level on it.
Yeah, it does.
That's pretty fancy.
So we get that point right there.
And
now,
would you just measure that then? Like from point to point?
Well, you don't really need to measure it, because once you do this, you lock your thumb screws down so nothing moves. And you simply go to the other side.
Oh, okay. Now I'm seeing where we are.
Right here. To the same
make
spot.
Sure it's the right. Okay.
So what we tried to do.
That's why you're in charge and I'm not.
Get this radiator support set up straight.
Okay. With
the frame, with the body.
So where did you get this thing?
Oh, probably Amazon someplace, or one of the places that sells parts for cars. It's been used so much. It used to have a tape in it like this where you could pull it out and tell you what the exact distance was.
Ooh, fancy.
But it has since decided it didn't want to work anymore.
So I really don't feel like girl math would have worked on this one.
Girl math would not have worked. And this would probably be which subject in math do you think? Algebra?
You said geometry.
Geometry,
I hated all math.
Well, geometry was all about figures, you know, triangles and squares, and knowing the sides and knowing the relationship.
Kind of the angles and the,
So you know that if you have a square, then by geometry that two sides have to be equal to have a square. So if this is going to be square, we would measure to make sure both sides are the same.
You made it sound so simple.
Right. And then once you do that and you get this radiator support set properly, then when you bolt up the frames on both sides, they're going to line up with the doors. And most importantly, when the hood comes down, it will fit in the cavity here. There's room to adjust on all of this, but you have to start with the frame and the radiator support. And they have to be exactly square with the body and the frame and the radiator support. There's the square, the geometry in here, and then the fenders bolt up. And that's, you know, if you're going to work on your car at home and you want to do some work on it, you got to replace fenders. If you take all this stuff off, then you're going to need to have the ability to put it all back on where it's square, so when you shut the hood, it'll actually shut. What do you think?
I'm just really impressed you know how to do all of this.
Well, we got geniuses around here. I'm just telling you what they did. So.
I am in awe of y'all's understanding of how to do all of this.
Yeah, well,
I just like to drive the car.
Yeah, I understand.
But I'm glad y'all know how to put it together.
This one won't start very well. There's no motor in there.
Yeah, well, eventually it'll look great.
Right, but it's going to start, and it's going to have an LS in it too.
Y'all are so smart. I'm very impressed.
Right.
Well, good job, good work. I learned something new today. That was my thing.
The question is, did you understand any of it?
I did, and now it made sense. You made it. Girl math made sense now.
Girl math makes sense.
Yeah.
Good.
It makes. I might need a tram like that.
We should do.
If I ever work on a car.
We should have a tram that says girl math on it.
Yeah, girl math will be better. This will be better than girl math, is what it should say. Better than girl math. But I mean, think about it. Like, if this were like a chest of drawers or something, like a girl would go to her house and be like,
yeah.
And then they'd go to the store and buy it and come back and they're like, yeah, that's it.
It probably fit better than this.
You can't do that on this because you can't like get in and do
well,
the
we
thing.
did try that, but it didn't line up very well.
Yeah, that's
so
probably why you had to buy that.
We use this. It's a little easier. So I'm Barry Wilson with Wilson Auto Repair. WilsonAuto.com is the website. Hit the subscribe button on our YouTube if you would, please.